about them. I know a little bit about them. Right.
So I suppose we should go back to the beginning. And the movie, which is now 20 years ago.
20 years yesterday.
Does that feel a bit weird about this 20 years? Does that seem to have flown by?
Just, yeah, existentially, yeah. You get to a time in your life, I'm in my mid-50s now, where 20 years, I mean, now you can remember cycles of 30 and 40 years. It's quite disconcerting, and it's happened just really, really quickly. And that's flown, that's 20 years, that's gone in the blink of an eye.
I suppose, is the Doctor the role you've actually played the longest in your career? Because apart from those 4 years between the movie and coming back to join us in 2000, you've been doing it ever since.
But aggregately, hardly at all.
No, because you turn up for 3 days. And
I turn up for 3 days here. You know, even the televised stuff, the stuff on film. I mean, I shot Doctor Who in my life for about 6 weeks. That's it. So I feel like sometimes a little bit of fraud. I've hardly done any at all. And aside, like you said, aside from a few of these, well, how many have I done? Maybe 60, 70?
60, 70, yeah.
Yeah, of the audios down the years. It's hardly anything. But nevertheless, it seems to now occupy half of my life.
Does it feel like to coin a phrase, a comfortable pair of gloves when you go into the studio?
Did you really just coin that phrase?
Yeah. I was looking for a phrase and that's the one that came out. So, does it feel comfortable to step into the role of the Doctor? Did you, when you came back to do Night of the Doctor, did it seem quite easy for you to, oh, this is how I do it, because of doing the audios in the meantime?
I was glad when we shot that thing, that we took a day, maybe a day and a half to shoot Night of the Doctor, and I was glad. I was glad that not only had I played the role before, I mean, despite it being 20 years ago, but as you say, more that we'd done all those audios. I kind of knew what I was doing, because we only had the day to shoot. Most actors, when they work on productions, you take the first day, 2 days, just to feel your way into anything. We always wished that we could shoot the first couple of days again anyway, but on Night of the Doctor, that was it. But it felt, within an hour, it felt great. It felt really easy. It was nice walking in and seeing this costume hanging on a hanger. I think they fitted me once, but I hadn't actually seen it.
Did you have any input into that costume?
A little tiny bit. But the final decision wasn't mine, no. But I was really glad when I saw it, because it actually, I thought, looked better than the one that I'd worn before. I preferred it.
Yeah.
And it looked like you could have a fight in it. You know? Do the housework. Because, you know, like some costumes look like costumes and some costumes look like clothes. And this one I just thought it fitted, it was good, you know, it felt nice. I swear as well when, during one of the lunch breaks, I saw Moffat trying it on. Getting Gators to take his picture. You know? Yeah, go on, take it now.
Steve Moffat and Mark Gators were actually there, were they, during the recording?
Yeah, Moffat was there almost throughout. Gators was there for a day, I remember. Well, that was the day. And it was great to see them, although I realised then that, I don't know, it made me a little bit nervous as well, because I knew that we had to actually do it. It was a bit like having the teacher and the headmaster in as well. But great fun, great fun. But I was glad, really glad that we'd done so many audios, because I kind of sort of knew. And then of course by the end, it was only 6 minutes long, but of course there's that sequence towards the end where he invokes the names of the Big Finish companions.
Yes.
That was a great moment. It was a really nice moment. And Stephen he seemed to be, because I know once or twice he was handing me little bits of paper, writing things on the spot, saying, no, say this, say this. And I don't think it was quite like that, but it was, I think it was probably quite a last-minute decision.
He actually...
did he tell you about it?
Yeah, he actually phoned up Nick and said, do you mind if we do this? He was like, mind?
So this is the kind of relationship that's, I mean, is that indicative of the kind of relationship that Cardiff has with Big Finish?
Yeah,
I mean, they sort of trade intelligence, trade information, they ask.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because I remember going to a meeting with BBC Worldwide, and this new BBC executive turned up, and as a licensee holder, and we're now because we've got the 10-year extension, we're actually going to be the longest running licensee holder in the history of BBC Worldwide. I turned up at this meeting with someone who was like, oh, let me tell you about Doctor Who. And I was like, right, okay. And he said, well, we're bringing back the Daleks. And I'm like, yes, I know. We're going to bring back the Cybermen. I said, yes, I know. And they're like, how? Yeah, it's our stories that are being adapted for the television. Three of the episodes were based on, basically, this is back in Russell's time. I'd signed off on those stories going to Russell because Russell said, I want those stories. And I went, yes.
So, well, let me take you back a little bit. So around the time that you and I met, when was that, around 2001 to... 2000, it was just the end of 2000. Yeah. And when I was first involved, you first got me involved in Big Finish. Big Finish presumably wasn't the only show in town, and there were other people doing...
No, we were the only show in town.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was no one else...
No, there was... I have to be careful because I don't know what's public, but there was 2 other pitches that went in to the BBC at around about 2001, 2002. But it was Russell who got the gig. They really wanted Russell, and Russell really wanted Doctor Who, so that was where the synergy came from. And it was actually Gary Russell who called me up and said, Doctor Who's coming back, don't tell anyone. I said, Gary, how many people have you told? He was like, damn, caught me out. It's like when David Tennant was cast as Doctor Who. Gary phoned me up and said, you'll never guess who's Doctor Who, someone we know. And it's like, oh my God, so my first thought was Mark Gatiss. It would have been, and that would have been really good anyway. But so I thought about Mark, and then I went through a number of people, David Warner, loads of people, and yeah, it would have been brilliant. But and he went, no. Toby Longworth? No. And he said, it's David Tennant. I went, wow. Because I knew how much David loved Doctor Who.
And it wasn't long previous to that David had been in some big films.
He'd done 16 productions.
That's incredible.
And he was introduced to me at a party, actually, which Toby Longworth said, come meet my mate, he's really into Doctor Who. And I was like, okay. And I came up and I met David, and he was like, oh, hi. You know, and we were chatting away, and I said, oh, well, yeah, we've got a couple of things coming up. He said, I can lose the scotch. And he was so enthusiastic. It's so funny because Frank Skinner has been doing a lot of work with us recently. I think he came in and worked with you, didn't he?
He did, so
yeah. And he's such a huge fan.
Yeah.
And he has the not the iPad device. What was on about the app? He has the Big Finish app on his phone, and he downloads everything, and he's got just about everything we've ever produced. And it's
often the ones you least expect.
It's a little secret society. I was explaining to this BBC exec when she was telling me things that were going to happen. I go, yeah, I know. And in the end, I had to say, well, being a Doctor Who fan is a little bit like being in the Masons. We actually tell each other loads of things, like don't tell anybody else, which means don't tell a non-Doctor Who fan. So it's terrible, isn't it? But it was
so much, isn't it? Like, down the years, we've had to keep stum about so much. So it's like every year there's another secret we just have to
keeping your secret that you were doing yours was very, very difficult because I wanted to tell people I couldn't. That you
Because
were doing
you
that.
knew.
I knew, because Steve wanted to make sure that we were okay with it. And of course we were like, yes, of course. The chance for you to have your regeneration.
So you knew.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's easy. I think it's easy to keep a secret if all you have to do is not say it.
Yes.
That's the easy thing. But with this kind of thing, and what imperiled Night of the Doctor, the reason the Night of the Doctor was released early rather than on the 50th, as you know, was because someone was threatening to release it.
Information.
So like I said, there's a difference between just not saying anything and trying to protect the stuff that might be on people's laptops or on hard drives or whatever. That's a different matter of time.
Did you ever think at any point, ooh, they might slip me into the 50th and so on? Because not once it had gone to sort of 12 weeks before, 10 weeks before. They couldn't now anyway, even if they wanted to, unless they sound you out. For a big thing like that, it would have to have been 6 months before. So I knew, In fact, and we were on, me and McCoy and Peter, and we were doing the Five-ish Doctors.
Five-ish Doctors thing. Which is all predicated on this thing, the phone's not going to ring, they don't love us anymore, we're not going to get the gig, and that kind of thing. And then suddenly I got the gig in the middle of it. And I couldn't tell. I felt like a twat.
Did anybody come up to you afterwards and go,
Yeah.
amongst doctors?
But I think, of course, Tom hadn't told him that he was actually in the 50th.
Yeah.
So in a sense, his crime easily trumped mine. To Trump. Now there's a verb.
It actually got outside that Tom was in it. Do you know how it got out?
You told everybody? They told Gary Russell and Gary Russell told everybody.
No, because what happened was that they filmed it all in secret and separate, obviously with Matt. Yeah. And they asked Tom to sign a script which they were going to auction off for children in need. So
simple as that.
And then they left the script out. And they went,
so easy.
Oh, Tom Baker's in.
But to live and to work in this age of, the technology is such, it's so easy now for secrets to slip out. But also to live, to be in the age of spoilers, where you can't have a cliffhanger anymore, that's gone, And there seems to be almost a little industry in itself trying to stay ahead of things and spoil it for everybody else. I don't understand the spirit, but it's something that we have to guard against.
It's also an age where newspapers just delve into everybody's lives who's in any way famous as well.
Oh, they always did that, though, didn't they?
Yeah, but not the way they do now.
Maybe not. Maybe there's just more newspapers.
More online, I suppose. Anyway, it's not the subject. So, Eighth Doctor. What do you think of the Eighth Doctor?
I kind of like him. I kind of like him. I don't profess to understand it.
Do you think he's a bit of a romantic hero?
I think he's a hero, definitely.
Oh, sorry. Right, apologies. Can you hear us down the back?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we were being a bit...
Oh,
sorry.
They should have said.
Oh, no, we'll rewind, do the whole thing again.
Thank you.
Yeah, go on, let's see if we go. Ready? He's going to regenerate now.
I don't get that joke. Is that a joke? I don't think.
Just been injured.
Cheers.
So what was the Eighth Doctor? What do you think of the Eighth Doctor?
What was the question? So that's just reminded me of something. Years ago, I was doing this. I was in this Charles Dickens thing on the telly, with David Morrison. And me and Dave, in the middle of shooting, we went to a football match. We're both mad Liverpool supporters, and we went to this football match in England. Because Dave had this, I had this big moustache. Dave had these chopper sideburns. We looked like a pair of actors, you know. And this Scouse wag came up to me in the crowd, and he looked at me and he looked at Dave and he said, all he said was, 2 beers, or not 2 beers. What was the question? That's all he said. I don't even know if it was funny, I just remember. What was the question?
Just what you thought of the 8th Doctor. Do you think he's changed over the years?
I don't think he's a romantic hero. I don't know what would make him romantic. He doesn't, well, as I understand it, he doesn't profess to be romantic. The people associate, I don't know, because I play him, I don't.
I think it was that whole Byron thing to start with.
Who he?
Because there was some comment on the fact that he was dressed, his look was Byron-esque, if you see me.
Byronic.
Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, it's Jason-esque. Yeah.
That would be bold.
No, but he's certainly a hero. You know, their hero adventures, you know, so and it's nice to play a hero. You know, because they're usually slightly misguided, slightly flawed, doing things on the hoof, you know, but meaning well. And I really liked it when we got to shoot the thing we were just talking about.
Nice and Doctor.
Yeah, because it seemed like he'd kind of grown up a little bit. There's, you know, it seemed it was the man, not the boy kind of thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously he lived.
Well, yeah. It felt more kind of rounded, because I was 20 years old as well, but it felt more kind of rounded, and there seemed to be suddenly a lot more at stake. And he did something very noble. It was great, you know. It's so amazing what you can squeeze into. Moffat was really clever, what he managed to achieve in 6 minutes. That writing, I thought was fantastic.
Was there any point when you were filming, you were going towards the regeneration, you thought, no, can I stay around for a bit? Or were you really happy because you were getting your regeneration?
Yeah, I was partly happy, yeah, because all down the years I felt a little bit miffed. Well, you would, you know, you play the Doctor and you don't get a regeneration. Colin Baker's the same, he's never had a regeneration.
Yeah.
You know, and he never stops telling us about it. Sorry, what did you say?
He thinks he's still the Doctor. He tells everyone he's never regenerated.
And he's got a point.
No, you can't say that, because you have.
That's true. That's true. No, I was excited about it. And anyway, you know, you can go backwards, right? I like it.
Oh yeah, you can beat the old Doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, was it nice to think that you were changing into John Hurt?
For me personally, yeah. Yeah, it was. John Hurt's my hero.
Yeah.
He's one of the reasons, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor watching John Hurt on the telly. I absolutely adored him. When I was a kid, do you remember I, Claudia?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing series.
Because I forget how young you are, you might not remember it. But he was fantastic in it. And I remember even saying to my dad, after watching one of the episodes, so that's a job. They get paid to do that. And when I said, yeah. That was maybe the first time that I may have considered it, maybe thought, God, I'd like to do that.
We've just had John Hurt come back and do 12 stories with Big Finish. And when he walked into the studio, he was just normal, chatting, hi, I'm John. Everyone was like, oh. Yeah. That was all the actors, every actor who was there. I've never seen so many, you know, we have a lot of regular actors at Big Finish. And when they heard we got John Hurt coming, I don't think David's had an inbox like that before, where everyone's like, I'll do anything, just keep They wanted to work with John Hurt. Yeah. He didn't disappoint, he was absolutely stunning.
Well, I'm disappointed, do you think I felt when I realised he wasn't going to turn up on that day?
Oh really? Because you thought he might be, because
I didn't meet him, I didn't see him.
Yeah, but it was in the script as his voice, so you thought he might be there.
I thought he might turn up, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, I had to play him.
No, really?
Yes,
you voiced it?
No, I didn't voice it, but you know, the stuff when we shot it, that was me, that was, you know.
So when you...
I didn't meet him until 6 months later. We met, we did a panel like this. And I was speechless, I couldn't say anything because it was him. He's got that great voice, you know.
Yes.
I like him. I like him.
We should open this to the floor, shouldn't we?
To the floor.
So, have we got any questions for the 8th Doctor? That man there was first up.
Do you need a microphone? Should we send one out there, or...?
I don't know, is this loud enough? Can you hear me?
It's loud enough for us.
We'll repeat it if you like.
What was it like working with your son on the Big Finish story?
What was it like working with Jake, your son, on the Big Finish audience?
I felt really proud of him. But I couldn't show it because I didn't want to embarrass him. Anyone here with kids knows that feeling. And he was a teenager at the time, so I had to be really careful with him. But he'd do really good things, and I really wanted to just grab him and go, fantastic! But he would have been appalled. He said to me recently, he was amazed to find out he had a wiki page. It's the power of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
She said, I got my own wiki page.
Well, he's your great-grandson.
He's my great-grandson.
Yeah. To keep it in the family.
Yeah, I loved working with him.
That was
his first little gig, you know.
Yeah, because he came in and did Immortal Beloved as one of the page boys, basically. And effectively, that was sort of an audition, although we didn't tell him at the time, because we knew this part was coming up. And I think either Gary or Nick said, maybe we could get Jake to do it. So we got him in to play the page boy, and he was very good. And we thought, well, fair enough, then just give him a role. And it was quite lovely to have you and Jake and name's gone right out of my head. Oh my God. Caroline Ford, yes. Yeah. All in the same room together, because there was that connection from the very start of Doctor Who through to now, and the next generation.
Jake worked with Sheridan Smith, and they got on really well. He adored that, you know. Yeah, it's great.
It was. What was it like working with Sheridan?
I miss working with Sheridan. I miss India too, but Sheridan did seem to just...
She inhabits a role.
Yeah, she's a brilliant actor and a star, you know. Do you know we're talking about Sheridan Smith? She's now probably our leading, in Britain, our leading young actress. It's quite right, you know. She's fantastic. And they're trying to give her knighthoods and medals and everything.
She's got her OBEs.
She's got her OBEs.
She's got...
what's she like, 34?
She's 34 now. She's got 2 BAFTAs, 2 Oliviers back to back. Yeah. Only one other person's done that, Judi Dench.
One of those horrible winners, like, you know, like those winners.
Everyone stop it. But what's interesting is that she's doing Funny Girl at the moment, where she's taking a rest from that.
Yeah, this is a girl who, I mean, you know, anyone, I'm sure lots of you have seen Funny Girl, Barbara Streisand. Don't go near it. You know, for years there's been a moratorium on it. There's no actress that can do it. Sheridan can do it. And even, you know, everyone that reviewed it said, yeah, this girl has pulled off the seemingly impossible. Well, she's that clever. She's that good.
The Times review ended with Barbara who? That's how good she is.
That's how camp the Times is.
Yeah. And that's going to be fascinating if she goes to Broadway to see, because no one's attempted to do Funny Girl on Broadway because no one wants to take on Streisand. So that's going to be interesting. Anyway, total aside, but she is amazing.
Oh, Lady Sheridan. Yeah,
she's fantastic, and hopefully she's come back and done 2 short trips with us recently, which we're releasing over the summer. And we didn't think she'd come back, she did. So we said, would you come down and do something for us? She went, oh yes. So it's a question of schedule now. I'm trying to, you know what it's like trying to get you and Sheridan in the same space, because you're both too busy. You're a nightmare for producers, you lot. It's terrible. Who thinks that, you know, God, it's terrible. Actors who get employed all the time, it's terrible.
Yeah, good old Sheridan.
But yes, so it's going to be, hopefully that will happen very soon. Sorry, another question.
2 beers, or not 2 beers?
That man had his hand up very, very quickly.
Me?
Yes, you.
Yay. Well,
Don't point that thing.
It'll go off.
it's made in China. It's made in China.
Definitely don't point that
Just a plastic thing that does this. At least you actually, even though you had one movie and one regeneration sequence, at least you actually had the ability to make it canon instead of like, you know that other movie called The Doctor and the Daleks? It was like these weird Daleks with like the red ears, and then like, what was that? Was that even canon?
Well, what is canon? I'm a great believer. If you've enjoyed it, then it counts.
Did you get that out of a cracker?
I did. I'm very impressed with myself. But
Sounds
it's
like a
true.
life coach.
It's true. I mean, I think people get wound up by canon. I think Star Trek fans get far more wound up by canon because Star Trek is linear. At least Doctor Who is all over the place. So you can fit in. Don't worry.
I saw that film when I was 7 years old. I saw that film you're talking about, and I was thrilled to bits with it. It was the first time we saw Daleks in colour.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just like, I wanted to see it again as soon as I'd seen it. Fantastic film.
Yeah.
But no one talks about it. It's like the boat. Don't go there. It's weird, isn't it?
Yes, but it is. I mean, I saw it when I was a kid on television, and it was again one of the first times we actually got to see a full-length Doctor Who movie, and it was fantastic.
But it's a good question because it is a kind of not a serious matter, but it's just it's always slightly an elephant in the room at these things, you know. And when we did 20 years ago, when we did the TV pilot. Or rather, after we'd made it and it failed to go to a series, I kind of assumed that it would go the way of that film, the Peter Cushing film. 10 years later, when the series came back, I just thought, well, that'll be it. Nobody will speak about them. But fortunately, they did. But it's always touch and go. What are you doing?
I'm just looking for some YouTube clips of you.
Doing what?
No, just a big finish. Don't worry, for the end, don't worry. So when you went to America, presumably you had to make plans on the basis you'd signed a 7-year contract or something.
Yeah, standard contract for a US pilot, if you're a performer, is 6 or 7 years you have to sign for that, or you can't do the pilot. I'm sure it's the same now, it certainly was then. Of course, it's all one-sided as well. If it doesn't go, then your hands on your ear. But if it does go, then you belong to them for 6 years. And we were going to, prospectively anyway, go to Canada for 6 years. The kids were babies. They were going to have to go to school there. We'd have to the usual. And then it didn't happen. But that's, you know, if you work as an actor, that's how usually it is. Things almost happen all the time, and then don't. So you just get used to it, go on to the next thing.
Because your brother auditioned as well, didn't he?
For the role, yeah, Mark.
Did you ever discuss that with him?
That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
You're not going to show it now?
No.
Okay.
What am I? No, that'd be wrong of me. But
Yeah, Mark auditioned.
did you ever talk about it at the time? Or do you
We never
just
spoke
talk-
about it because I come from, there's 4 actors in the family, all the 4 boys are actors. And we decided really early that we would never talk about work because it just saved time. So when we got together, when we tell our mum about work, and she's kind of information central, so she knows where everybody is. So how's Mark doing? She'll tell me, but we never speak about it. We talk about other things instead. So we just never mentioned it, and I didn't mention it to him. But we both kind of knew. And the real reason that we both auditioned is because Phil Siegel couldn't tell us apart. And that's a fact.
Did you go, that guy McGann, you know, which one? He's like, which one? And they go, just get them both in.
Get them both in, get them both in. But we'll see what
Mind you, he was a bit surprised when you turned up on set, because you were...
Eventually he was, because this long hair that I had.
Yeah.
That's what got me the gig.
Yeah.
It's a hair job. Don't think it's a hair job.